Hello, dear folks. Isn't it lovely when we get to this point of the week where we can roll out the mat? Lovely to join you here. We're going to do a practice that's mainly going to be focused laying or being down on the mat. And it's to invite some opening into the hips and the pelvis. And this will help to release some of the holding that we can sometimes have. The tensions and stuff can be drawn into that area around the psoas muscle, which is connecting to the lumbar spine and the tops of the thighs. So we're going to be saying hello to that area with a sense of kindness. And take your time and pause whenever you need to. Pause the recording whenever you need to. And listen to the guidance of your body. If there's a posture or a suggestion that doesn't land with you today, that's really okay to maybe miss it out or adapt it as you see fit. So really listening to any guidance that comes from your body. Okay, so we're going to start laying down on your back. So find yourself settled on your back. And let's just take a minute or two to allow the body to settle. And maybe even to consider an intention for your practice today. And it might be an intention to just be with how things are in the body, to acknowledge and accept what's here. And that can be a huge kindness to also accept if there are any limitations, any restrictions. Any limitations and restrictions are really our body looking after us. So thank goodness our body lets us know if we need to slow down. Okay, so let's feel the ground. And become part of the ground in terms of allowing the body to settle. Maybe a big outward sigh might help the muscles let go and sink more into the ground. So maybe we'll take a breath in and then an outward sigh. Letting go of the week, the day, the moment that came before this one, so that we can fully inhabit now. So over the next minute, let's notice particularly the out-breath, that sense of release of what we no longer need to hold on to. Each out-breath letting go a little bit more. And you might like to also use each out-breath with a focus on a particular part of the body that's meeting the ground. So as you breathe out, feel that particular part. Maybe it's the heel. Letting go and sinking a little bit more. Noticing how the body appreciates this pause, this moment of rest. And if you notice your breath as you're aware of that out breath, and it might be a little bit fast or a little shallow, if it's expressing how you are today, really allowing that to be okay. Your body knows how it needs to support you, and your breath knows how it needs to respond. Each breath is a new beginning of an in-breath, and each out-breath is a release. And so let's begin to bring a little bit of movement. We'll take the arms over the head and maybe point the toes and stretch the fingers like a big body yawn. And then exhale, soften and release into the mat. Inhaling a body yawn, growing the sides of the waist, maybe stretching on one side and then the other, waking up to right now. And then on the exhale, we're letting go. Let's just do this a few times, in time with your breath, the pace of your breath, what feels right for you. So there's a big stretch on the in-breath, we're growing and expanding, and then there's a big, complete softening, sagging, feet falling out to the side, elbows softening. Release on the exhale. And then after the next exhale, let's just take some moments here. If your eyes were closed, maybe opening them and noticing the space around you. And noticing it in a neutral way, not a way that says, oh my goodness, I need to dust, or I need to tidy the cobwebs, or that needs painting, but in a completely accepting that everything's fine right here, right now, just as it is. So we're more taking in the shapes and the colours and the space of this room. Okay, and then we'll bring more of a side stretch into the body. So taking the feet heel by heel, stepping them over towards the right, and then taking the arms over towards the right, and the right hand can then hold around the left wrist. So we're sort of creating a banana-like shape of the body. And you might feel a stretch in the left side of the body, the left hip and the left waist, maybe in the left shoulder. Allowing the jaw to relax. And breathing into that left side of the body. And you might want to breathe into the area that feels an element of stretch. So for me, that's around the left hip. So I'm going to imagine that there's a lung there in the left hip, and I can direct my breath as if I'm filling the left hip with the breath. And then as I breathe out, it's a sense of letting go. And it might be somewhere else for you that you want to direct your breath. And this might be enough of a stretch for you. It might be, enough that you don't need to stretch further. Or if you feel that there's a little bit more room, you could lift your left leg up and cross the legs so the left foot crosses over your right ankle, and you might find that that stretches just a little bit more. And if that feels too much, undo it. So we're trying things and then finding what works for us. Again, breathing into that left side of the body wherever the stretch is most noticeable. We'll allow the eyes to be soft and the mouth to be soft, as if we're just having a nice rest and a relaxation. There doesn't need to be an intensity of our purpose. There can be a softness of our purpose. It's like we're trying easy rather than hard. And then releasing the left leg from across the right leg. Turning the head back so the back of the head rests on the floor. Releasing the hold of the arms. And then walk the heels back so that you're more in a straight line. And let's have another nice yawny stretch. And relax. Then we'll just do the same on the other side. So let's walk our heels towards the left. So they might even come off the edge of the mat. And then we'll take our arms towards the left, and this time the left hand will hold around the right wrist. Notice where the head wants to go. It might want to look towards the left. And then we'll breathe into the right side of the body, maybe breathing into any areas that feel a stretch. So we're inviting a softening there. And if we've got a nice relaxed mouth and jaw, that also enables a softening in the body. The brain sort of pays attention to what the jaw is doing. If it's clamped shut, the brain reads that there may be threat or something to worry about. So let's give it nothing to worry about at all and soften the mouth. Maybe even do a fake yawn. And then there's that opportunity, if you like, to increase the stretch if you'd like to. So you'd lift your right leg up, cross it over the left leg and place it down. And let's just take some more breaths, breathing into the right side of the body. Soft mouth, soft breath. Noticing your surrounding. Maybe this time, rather than gazing around the room, you might also like to just notice any sounds. Maybe bird song outside, or I'm aware of the wind blowing around the house. And again, receiving that sound as sensation rather than something that needs to be assessed or judged. It's just a backdrop to our experience. And then releasing the right leg from over the left, letting go of the right arm, and shuffle back round so you've got that nice straight body. Stretch again. And now let's bring one knee and then the other knee in towards the body. And gently rock and roll, giving a bit of a massage to the back, and it also can massage the shoulders after that shoulder stretch. Inviting a little bit of loosening in the spine. And then coming back to the center. Let's place the hands on the knees and open the hips by circling each knee, drawing 2 circles. So we're exhaling as the knees come towards the body, and we're inhaling as we move away. If it feels tricky when you're tying the movement to the breath, you can always let it go. Breath will still breathe you. We're proof of that because we're here. And then let's circle the knees the other way. And then bringing the knees into the chest, hugging around the shins, and bringing the nose towards the knees. This is our sort of compensation for social isolation. When we can't hug everybody, we can hug ourselves. We can pretend that we're our own best friend. Maybe we are actually. And then let the feet settle down and walk back along the mat. And pause, arms away from the body, feet flopping out, palms facing up, feeling the air. And let's reconnect with the ground. This simple practice in Shavasana of feeling the ground is one of the most useful tools whenever we feel a bit that life's a struggle. If we feel a bit activated or anxious, connecting with the ground and just noticing our connection and our support is very nourishing for our nervous system. And it's something that we can all do. There's a bit of ground near us, and there's a body. So if we've got those, we can do this at any time. Okay, so now bringing the legs sort of more parallel, taking the arms up over the body. We're going to slowly, if that feels okay, for a count of about a 4-second in breath and a 4-second out breath, we're going to lift and lower both arms and alternate legs. So we're going to inhale, lifting the left leg, 2, 3, 4, sort of that sort of count, and then exhaling down, 2, 3, 4, letting it land really gently, and then lifting the other leg, 4, and exhaling down. And we're aiming to do about 8 on each side, but it's really fine that you might choose 4. So every other one you could have a little mini rest. So listening to what feels right for your body. Inhaling. And the leg that remains on the floor, we're really going to try and push that heel away from us. It's a nice long straight leg. Inhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, letting yourself feel that settling as the limbs land back on the mat. This is where I tend to lose count. I think we're up to number 4. But it's okay, we're not at school, nobody's watching us, nobody's marking our attendance and our performance. So know that you can grab a pause anytime that feels right for you. Inhaling, lifting. And exhaling, lowering. Resting whenever you need to. That's not a weakness, it's not a flaw. If we need to rest, it's a sign of health because you're listening to the guidance of your body, and your body knows what's right for you far better than anybody else. I have a feeling that we're at about 8. So next time you're lifting your left leg up, just gently hold behind the left thigh. Notice that the shoulders, so you might be feeling that there's this whole business of gripping and getting involved, but actually we can allow the shoulders to soften and relax and the torso to be nice and heavy against the floor. We're just aware of a gentle stretch in the back of the thigh. If you feel any demand of a stretch near your knee or your hip, maybe you're pulling the leg a little bit too close, so ease off a bit. So we want to feel the stretch more in the middle of the thigh, in the belly of the muscle. And again, we can allow that out breath to invite a sense of softening. And as we move through our practice, just taking in this sense of quiet enjoyment. If we're feeling or having this attitude of quiet enjoyment, our nervous system and our brain and our mind notices and thinks, oh, this is okay. So our attitude can sort of set the landscape for our experience. And then you might find that you can take your hands up a little bit higher. If it doesn't feel right, then return them to where they were. And you might find that you can bring your leg a little bit more towards your body. If the stretch feels a little bit too much in the thigh, you can soften your knee. So we've got lots of ways to make this a comfortable, enjoyable practice. And then bending that knee, hugging it into the body. Let's take a few breaths here. So not anticipating what we're going to do next. We're just going to hang out here. We're hugging the knee towards the left armpit. The shoulders are soft. And the tummy can be soft. And just aware of all your points of contact between the back of your body and the floor. Every time we notice our connection with the ground, our nervous system gets some nourishing good news. Oh gosh, we're landed, we're here. And it's okay. And then Directing your knee more now across your body, let your right hand take the left knee and slowly stretch across the body, and the left arm can stretch out to the left side. Relaxing, softening and breathing. Notice where you are more aware of the stretch. It might be in the shoulder that you want to direct your breath, sort of bathing the shoulder with your breath, or it might be the hip. And then releasing, coming back to the center. Let that leg slide down now. Stretching the whole body again. Toe to fingertip stretch, maybe stretch on one side and then the other. And then we're going to inhale, lifting the right leg up. Hold around the back of the right thigh. Relax the shoulders. Let go of any holding in the shoulders as if they're melting towards the ground. And the mouth is soft. And the left leg, the heel is still pushing away from you. It's a nice long, extended left leg. Checking in with where you're feeling that stretch in case you need to release a little for it to be more in the belly of the muscle. Just finding your comfortable place. Meeting your breath. How is your breath feeling right now? Not in terms of a judgment, just how do you feel it? Depth, length, speed. And then you could choose to walk your hands further up the leg. Maybe drawing that right leg towards you a little, or not if that feels already in its comfortable place. And then bending the right knee. And let's hug it in towards the chest, still extending the left heel away from you. And the right knee is now going to be drawn out to the side a little, more towards the right armpit. And we'll take a few breaths here. You might want to sort of just lift your head and look towards your left toes and check that you've got a nice straight line of the body, and then settle back down. And then let the left hand hold on to the right knee, draw that across the body. Right hips will come off, right arm extended out to the side. And taking some breaths here. Breathing into any areas where you're aware of the stretch. Might be the buttocks, might be shoulders. Allowing the out breath to be an invitation to release and soften. And then releasing, rolling back onto your back, letting the foot land on the floor and then slide down. And let's bring in a pause. reconnect. Meet the breath, maybe in the belly, belly rising and falling. Meet the chest, receiving the breath. And then settling back on the out breath. And then bringing the hands in towards the body, palms facing down. Maybe place one foot on the floor so you can lift your butt up and then sit back on the backs of the hands. The elbows are slightly bent out to the side and the face is looking up towards the sky. And the aim is that we're going to inhale, lifting both legs up for maybe a count of 4, and then both legs down. You can change this by maybe softening the knees a little if it feels strong. The hands being under the buttocks, that actually gives a little bit more space to the lower back. So that's to protect the lower back, but just listen to your body. And if it doesn't feel comfy, then you can miss this one out and have a treat of a longer Shavasana whilst we're doing this, or wind forwards your recording. Okay, so we're going to inhale, lifting both legs up. And then as you exhale, draw your sit bones towards each other and imagine drawing the base of the pelvis, so the pelvic floor, if it was an elevator, lifting it up towards the navel as you exhale. And that creates a nice strong Mula Bandha, root lock, a strong core. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, sit bones drawn together, pelvic floor lifting up towards the navel, or even drawing right up towards the diaphragm. And again, we're going to aim to go for 8 of these, but you might want to pause and have a rest every other one, if that feels right for you. Inhaling up. And exhaling, lowering. Inhaling up. Exhaling, drawing the sit bones together, sucking the pelvic floor up towards the diaphragm. Resting if you need to. Inhaling, lifting up, softening the knees, holding around the backs of the thighs, and just gently rocking from side to side. And then sliding your hands up your legs as far as they'll go. So they might go to the calves or the ankles, or reach the toes, wherever it's available for you. And then we're moving towards straight legs. And that doesn't mean it has to be straight. It's just on that journey towards straight legs. Softening the shoulders. And then like a very gentle pendulum, massaging the back of the body as we gently and slowly rock from side to side. And then slowing your pendulum down until you come to stillness. And then we're going to inhale and taking the legs wide. And exhaling, drawing them together. Inhaling, feet wide, heels pushing away. Exhaling, feet towards each other. Inhaling, legs wide. Exhaling, heels towards each other. And this time when we exhale wide, I'm going to hold that for a few breaths, as long as that feels okay. So you could hold it, holding on to the part of the legs that you were working with, whether it's the feet or the ankles or the calves, or if you feel that your legs need a little bit more scaffolding, you can pop the elbows on the floor and then let the legs' weight be handed over to the hands. Aware of your connection with the ground, the back of the head, feeling the mat, maybe giving your head a gentle roll one way and the other. And then aware of the back of the torso connected with the ground. And then inhaling, lifting the head to look through the legs, softening the jaw, and then letting the head settle back, bringing the feet together, bending the knees, hugging them in towards the chest, and then letting the feet rest on the floor. The arms move out to the side, palms facing up. Pausing and connecting. Noticing how your body feels. And then lifting your left foot onto the outside of your right thigh. So your left knee sort of falls out to the side. Show you more this way. Okay, so we're just relaxing there. And then we're just going to inhale and lift up onto the right toes and bring the toes back towards the body a little bit. We'll hold that for a few breaths. Well, I said inhale and it didn't say exhale, so inhale and exhale. But the idea is we're inviting a little bit more of an opening into the left thigh by lifting the right heel. Taking a few breaths here. And then what I'd like you to do is take your right hand and hold around the instep of your left hand around the instep of your left foot, and your right hand around the top of the left foot on the outside edge. So we're creating what looks like a figure of 8. Maybe I can show you a little bit more this way. So there's this energy loop, like a figure of 8 there. And just being there for a few breaths. And then inhaling, and as you exhale, draw that foot a little bit more towards you, so you'll feel a stretch in the left buttock, in the piriformis. Inhaling, and then as you exhale, drawing the foot towards you. If this feels too strong, you can let go of the foot and just hold onto the shin. And then release the hold and let the sole of the right foot rest on the floor. Take your arms out to the side, like a letter T. And then we're going to breathe in, dipping the left toes down towards the ground. And then breathe out, rocking all the way across the pelvis and dipping the left knee towards the ground. Inhaling, toes to floor, right toe, left toes to floor. Exhaling, left knee to floor. Inhaling, left toes to floor. Exhaling, left knee to floor. And then the next time you rock left toes to floor, just holding that for a few breaths. And then release, taking the left foot off the right leg and pause. Notice how that left hip feels now. Maybe a little bit more spacious, a little bit more open. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So now we're going to lift the right foot. Let that rest on the left thigh and the right knee falls open. And then lifting the left heel off, bringing the left toes towards the body again. I'm going to take a few breaths here. And then we're going to create that figure of 8 shape again. Around the right foot this time. So the right hand reaches around the instep, the left hand over the top of the right foot. So we're creating a sort of a figure of 8 stirrup. Unless you can't reach that, and then you could just hold your shin. And just be and breathe. And then breathing in. And as you breathe out, draw the right foot a little bit more towards the body. So that's inviting a further stretch in the right hip and the right buttock. Inhaling, and then on the exhale, drawing the right foot towards you. It's a micro nudge, we're not pulling, or we're inviting. And then releasing the hold on the foot, taking the arms out to the side, settling the left foot firmly on the ground. And then we're going to inhale as we rock the right toe, big toe towards the floor. And exhale, right knee the opposite way towards the ground. Inhaling, big toe to the ground. Exhaling, right knee to the ground. Noticing the back of the pelvis having a nice massage as you rock one way. And then the other. And the next time you rock your right big toe towards the ground, just holding that for a few breaths, as long as it feels okay. Coming out if you need to. And then coming back to the center, lifting the right foot off the thigh, and just pausing here. Feeling all the points of contact between the back of the body and the ground. The sacrum at the base of the spine and the buttocks. Soles of the feet making their footprints on the mat. Back ribs, shoulder blades. Back of the crown of the head. And arms, knuckles of the hands. All these points of contact connecting you with the earth. And then sliding the right leg down to the ground, drawing the left knee in towards the body. Giving it a nice hug, extending the right heel away from you, long right leg. Left knee hugged. And then holding on to the left foot, let it rest on the top of the right thigh, and the knee can fall out to the side. So it's like we're in the tree pose for Shasana, but laying down. So bringing the hands together over the head, fingers pointing away, lengthening and lifting the sides of the waist. And then taking your arms out to the sides, extending your hands nice and wide. Meeting your breath. And then lifting your left knee back up, hugging into the chest, and then holding that left knee, just giving it a nice circle, almost as if the upper end of the thigh bone is stirring the pelvis. And then let that leg slide down along the floor. Hugging the right knee into the chest now, extending the left leg nice and long, left heel moving away from you. And then holding on to the right foot, guiding it to rest on the top of the front of the left thigh, knee falling out to the side into the tree, and then lengthening the body, bringing the palms of the hands together, pointing the index fingers away from you, lengthening the sides of the chest. Meeting your breath. Feel the breath filling and expanding your rib cage, expanding your lungs. And then opening your arms wide, palms facing up, stretching the arms. And then there's that invitation always that you can allow your breath to breathe into any areas of stretch. And then inhaling, lifting the right knee up towards the sky, and then extending, arms coming down beside your body, feet falling out back into Shavasana. And now let's bend the knees, bringing the heels fairly close to the buttocks. We're going to move into a bridge pose. So the knees are sitting above the hips. They're not falling out to the side or falling in towards each other. They're vertical. Take a moment to really feel your connection with the ground through the soles of the feet. And then we're going to inhale, taking the arms over the head, opening the chest, and then curling the tailbone up towards the ceiling, which sort of presses the lower back into the earth. And then the sacrum lifts, and then each vertebrae of the lower back and the mid back and the upper back lift up into the bridge, and then we sort of transfer our weight into the feet, lifting the breastbone towards the chin. And then let's hold that for a few breaths, or you could choose to roll straight on down,
and to wave up and down, flowing through this posture. Lifting the breastbone towards the chin, navel up towards the sky. And then on the next exhale, slowly lowering down, one vertebrae at a time, until finally the lower back settles on the floor and the buttocks settle on the floor, and we'll bring the arms down beside the body. And let's just do that one more time. Or you could choose to have a pause and let your feet go out to the edge of the mat and the knees meet each other, and you could rest here. But for those of us that are going to just move through this one more time, we're going to inhale, taking the arms over the head. And then tilt just the tailbone up to the sky, which is then pressing the lower back into the earth. Then the sacrum comes up. And one vertebrae at a time, climbing up, arching the back, arching the spine, lifting the navel up towards the sky. And then being here and breathing, let the awareness of the breath really fill the rib cage, fill the lungs, feel the ribs expanding out in all directions. And then on the next exhale, slowly lowering back down. And the hands can make their way down by your sides. So now bringing the knees in towards the chest, holding around the backs of the thighs, we're going to gently begin a little rock and roll, massaging the back of the body, rounding the spine. And eventually coming up to seated. Okay, just going to move back a little. Hugging around the shins, lengthening the spine, tucking the chin in, and coming up onto your toes. And then, if you can, letting your feet take off from the floor into what I was taught was the cosmic egg. So you're balanced on your buttocks. And then lifting the lower legs parallel with the floor. Holding around the ankles. It's like we're drawing the knees in towards the body, drawing the navel in towards the spine. And then letting the heels come down to the mat. I'm going to turn side on. Holding around the toes, bringing the butt towards the heels. So I'm sort of walking my butt towards my heels. And then just giving the knees a gentle
Gentle rock. And then slowing that down. Okay, so we're just going to extend the right leg out in front of us, pushing the right heel away, drawing the heel of the left foot to the root of the right thigh. And if you feel that there's a bit of room there, you might want to grab a blanket or cushion to support that knee if that feels more comfy. And then notice your hip bones. So they might be sort of heading off to the side. So sort of turning your waist so that your hip bones are shining over the front of that extended leg. Then we're going to inhale, reaching tall, and exhaling, folding forwards, still lifting the heart. Inhaling, reaching forwards, reaching up, exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, reaching tall. Exhaling, folding forwards and letting your hands float down where they do. It might be on the shins or the calves or the ankles or the feet. And I'm not using my arms to pull me forward because that might be too much for my back. So I'm just having that anchor, that support, but it's not to compel my body to go where it's not ready to. Let the head hang. Let's take some breaths here. Maybe inhaling, straightening the spine, lengthening the arms. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, lengthening the spine. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, lengthening. And then exhaling, folding forwards, and just be with that for a few breaths if that feels comfortable. If it feels demanding, you can actually put your right elbow on your shin or your knee or your thigh and open your palm to receive your forehead. And then the weight of your forehead and your head is held in your hands so that your back doesn't have to carry that weight. It reminds me of the thinker, Rodin's The Thinker. You can pause and be. And then the opening of the hips and the stretch of the pelvis can just happen whilst we're resting. And then lifting your head off your hand if you were using that. Inhaling, reaching tall. Exhaling, letting the hands move behind you. Lean back into the hands, extend the left leg. And then we're just going to lift the hips up and let the head gently fall back if it feels okay. Otherwise, you could keep the chin off the head on the breastbone. I'm losing my words. And then gently let the buttocks sit back down again. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So we're going to draw the right heel to the root of the left thigh. Again, there's that opportunity to offer a bit of support of a cushion. really going to use that. If it feels tight there, for me that feels quite loose, so I'm not going to use the cushion. But if there was an element of tightness or pulling there, you might want to use that. Okay, so where's our hips? So if those headlights were shining over there towards my lovely Flanagan, my dog, we're going to sort of turn them and direct them to shine over that extended leg. And we're going to inhale, reaching tall. And exhale, reaching forwards. Inhaling, lifting. And as we fold forwards, we're folding from the top of the hip, not from the back, but folding from the hinge of the hip. Yeah. Inhaling, reaching tall. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, reaching tall. And then this time as we fold forwards, letting the hands settle where they do. And it might be different on this side. We might be not as flexible on this side, and that's okay. So just allowing your hands to land where they comfortably do. And then we're going to inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, softening, hinging from the top of the thigh. Inhaling, lengthening, lifting the heart. And exhaling, folding forwards. It's like a gentle, humble bow. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, this time folding forwards, and we're going to hold that for a few breaths. So there's that option to either hold here or to let the left elbow rest on the left shin, or it might be the thigh for some of us. The palm opens and the forehead can rest in the palm of the hand. Allowing our unfolding to emerge as we rest. Maybe feeling the cushioned support of the forehead, the warmth of the palm of the hand. The waves of the breath. The feel of the ground supporting us. And then lifting the head out of the hand if you were doing that. Or if not, just straightening the body, lengthening the arms, and then inhaling, reaching tall. Exhaling, letting the hands move behind the body. So they're sort of about a hand's length behind the body. And we're extending the right leg now. And to just counter that forward fold, we're pointing the toes down towards the earth. We're lifting the hips, and the head can either move back or the chin can rest on the breastbone or towards the breastbone. You're really pressing into the hands. And then exhaling down. And now we're going to move into the Shavasana. So getting blankets or cushions, maybe you'd like a cushion under the backs of your knees, can be really helpful if there's any tightness in the back, or just maybe keep your knees bent if you don't have any cushions available. And then let's just rest and pause here.
Knowing that all you're doing is done. Feel that sense of settling now. Feel the ground supporting you and how your body enjoys the sense of support of the earth. And just as we began our practice with letting go with the out-breath, let's notice that again. So each out-breath allowing a sense of softening and settling more into the support of the ground. Whole body supported. The breath coming and going, bringing life and vitality in each breath. Your breath breathing for you. Aware of the space around you. The space between your fingers. And resting in the palms of your hands. The space between your toes. And touching the soles of your feet. The air on your skin. And the aliveness of your body, the tingle of aliveness of your body. I think this tingle of aliveness in your body is your body saying thank you. Thank you for this practice and for all that you do. And then as we're moving towards the end of the practice, is the choice that you might want to just excuse the sound of my dog's breath, not my dog's breath, but my dog Flynn's breathing into the microphone. And you might want to choose to spend some more time here resting in Shavasana, a gift to yourself. Or you might want to start to bring in a little bit of movement, maybe having a nice stretch. Maybe hug one knee into your chest. Hello, Flynn. My dog is blocking my view. Hello, dear. Just slowly stretching. And maybe rock and roll onto your back, whatever you need, and then slowly making your way up to sitting. Good. Good. Yes, you're really lovely too. Excuse me, I think my oh, my doggy student wants some attention now. Right, so you go over there a bit, dear. Thank you. So thank you so much for sharing the practice, and look forward to sharing with you some more, and I'm sure Flynn does too. Namaste.